So hello my dear friends, welcome back to our YouTube channel Invisible Threads. In our previous video we have seen what is the Coulomb force and the force acting on one charge due to multiple charges. Also from the superposition principle we have learned the force acting on one charge due to another one, and that will not be affected by the presence of others, and all the forces will be eventually added up. So the interesting thing is that if we get all the information from the Coulomb's law and also from the superposition principle, then what is the need of introducing another new concept like electric field? Now we will discuss on the physical significance of the electric field. So it is one of the best way of characterizing the electrical environment of the system of the charges. So what does it mean? It means mostly the force acting on a unit positive charge. Suppose if we place at some point inside the field without disturbing the system. So the force acting on a unit positive charge, we call it the electric field at that point. So our next point will be it depends on the system of charges and independent of the test charge placed at a point to determine the field. Also the electric field gives the magnitude and the direction of the electric force. So it means that the electric field depends on the source charge we can get from here, and that produces the electric field, but not on the test charge, because as long as the test charge is significantly very small, I mean in the limiting case. Now my friends, let's discuss one new phenomena a little far away from the electrostatics, so called the time dependent electromagnetic phenomena. So what is this? We all know about the electromagnetic radiation, and we can take light as an electromagnetic field that comprises of both mutually perpendicular electric and magnetic field. Suppose we consider two charges Q1 and Q2, and we want them to be accelerated. Suppose accelerated motion of Q1 produces electromagnetic wave. Suppose the Q1 producing electromagnetic wave and it reach the charge Q2 and impart force on the charge Q2. So we can see that both Q1 and Q2 will not be accelerated at the same time of switching the electric field on, because there will be some time delay. So we can say that in time dependent electromagnetic phenomena, electric and the magnetic field can only be detected by their effect on the charges in the form of forces, and both are treated as physical entities. So we can treat both the electric field and the magnetic field as the physical entities. They have their own dynamics we can get from the Maxwell equation we will discuss in our later video, and evolve according to their own laws. This concept was first introduced by Faraday. So this is one of the central concepts of this modern physics, such kind of phenomena. And we have already learned that the electric field is a vector quantity, so it denotes the presence of electric field lines. So our next topic of discussion will be on electric field lines. So suppose we consider a point charge, and we can draw lines coming out or coming in from the charge, and this indicates the direction of the electric field. So here is a positive charge I am indicating here. So the electric lines of force coming out from this positive charge, and you can see that I have drawn different line length of these lines of force, because the different line length indicates the strength of the electric field at that point. So we can see that the electric field varies as also 1 by r square. E varies as 1 by r square. Electric field lines with their length proportional to the strength of the field, that I have already told. So we need to know, is this the lines of force that also tells the magnitude of the electric field at some point? So we can introduce another new concept called density of lines. It means how dense the electric field lines are at any point in space. So we need to introduce another new concept called density of lines. So we can see the electric field is strong near the charge, so the density of lines is more near the charge, and lines are closer. Far away density of lines is less, and well separated lines. So now we can try to understand one thing, that we may draw several lines in closed space, but we need to consider number of lines per unit cross-sectional area. So the field lines at different points indicate the relative strength of the electric field at these points. So we can write that, suppose here is a charge is there, so the electric lines of force is coming out of the charge. So if we draw one surface here, you can see through this surface the more electric lines of force are penetrating, but from the surface S indicating here, there is less number of electric lines of force is passing through. And also you can see that there is I have drawn the curvature, the curved line is the electric field lines, and at any point of this curve, if we draw some tangent, it indicates the direction of the electric field. So the field lines, you can see that the field lines crowd where the electric field is strong and spaced apart where it is very weak. So we also can say that the electric field lines is a curve. So you can see from here the electric field lines is a curve in such a way that the tangent to it at each point is the direction of the electric field. So you can see here, this is the field lines. This is the field lines due to two charges plus Q and plus Q. Two have the equal charges. So electric field lines, we know that the electric field lines comes out from for the positive charge. So this is the lines of the electric field for the plus two same charges, and this is for the different charges plus Q and minus Q. You can see the electric field lines coming out from the positive charge and goes inside to the negative charge, and in the right side of the negative charge the electric field lines come inside for the negative one, and in the left for the positive charge the electric lines of force comes outside. So we can say that the field lines start from positive charges and end on negative one. So for single charge it may go to infinite. We can see that this line will go to infinite. When there is no charge, we can see the field lines may be taken as the continuous one. The field lines cannot cross each other, because if they cross at some point, we can say that at the point of intersection they will not have an unique direction, because if they intersect at some specific point, we can draw several lines at that point, so we can get two different directions at the same point for the electric field. So and the last one will be the electric field lines do not form any closed loops, which comes from the conservation nature of the electric field. So you have seen and understand the properties of the electric field lines. Now we will try to understand another concept called electric flux. So what is electric flux? So in our previous discussion we have learned that electric field means the number of field lines passing perpendicularly per unit area. Suppose there is a electric field mentioned as capital E, it means the number of electric field lines per unit area is perpendicularly to some surface is given by E. So if we now try to calculate through any given area, suppose a small area, elemental area called ds, area is a vector quantity, we can write it as ds vector is equal to magnitude of the ds vector times vector in the direction of the perpendicular to the direction of the ds. So we now calculate through any given area how much amount of electric field lines are passing perpendicularly of the area. That is called the electrical flux. So measure of the number of field lines passing through a surface perpendicularly. So the unit is Newton meter square per coulomb. So what is the electric flux? It is the value of the electric field, means the number of, so what I have already told you, that the value of the electric field, it means that the number of lines of force passing perpendicularly per unit area. So suppose it is a surface here, and the surface is little bit of tilt with the direction of the electric field, and the normal of the surface is mentioned here as the n cap. So the angle between electric field direction and the n cap is given as theta. Here it is also mentioned as theta. So the electric field is passing through penetrating through the surface. So we can write that the direction of the electric field along the normal of the surface is E cos theta. So it is per unit area E cos theta. So I have taken one elemental area of ds. So the total flux through the elemental area ds, what it will be? E cos theta times ds. So we can write it as the cross product of E dot ds. So I have written here flux means the number of field lines perpendicularly through a given area. So I am telling again, the value of electric field means the number of lines per unit area perpendicularly through a surface, but the flux means the total number of electrical field lines that is passing through any given area, not per unit area, through any given area, is called the electric flux. So the flux is 0 for a surface parallel to the field, means the angle will be if theta is equal to 0 degree, then phi e is equal to 0, we can write. So we understand that the flux depends on the strength of the electric field and on the relative orientation of the field and the surface. So my friends, I am concluding my today's discussion here. Please do like, share and subscribe our channel and press the bell button also for new updates every time. Stay tuned and keep supporting us. Thank you.